I am here to defend this man, Islam Makhachev, because for some reason, there has been a lot of hate against him. For what reason? This fight was supposed to go down. ILIA Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, UFC 317. We all know the story. UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena for the 170 title. If Bilal Muhammad won, Islam Makhachev would stay at 155 and defend his title against ILIA Topuria at UFC 317. If Bilal Muhammad lost to Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev would keep his title at 155 and move up to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the 170 belt. But neither of those happened. Jack Della Maddalena went out there, pieced up Bilal for 5 rounds. Islam Makhachev moves up to 170, and what the UFC does is strip him of the belt at 155. By the way, this is Islam Makhachev. Out of all the champions in the UFC right now, he has the most defenses. Except maybe Valentina Shevchenko probably has more defenses than her, but she's lost. Or maybe Zhang Weili. No, but Islam Makhachev has the most defenses out of all the champions right now. He's the pound for pound best. And what did the UFC do? They stripped Islam Makhachev so that Islam could move up. They could have kept it. But you know what they did? They made this fight. The Charles Oliveira versus ILIA Topuria fight. Why is that so blurry? I don't know. Couldn't fix it. My bad. I'm sick of all this hate of people calling Islam Makhachev a duck for avoiding this fight. Are you guys stupid? Get that through your heads. Islam Makhachev is not a duck for avoiding ILIA Topuria and going up to 170, which is a harder division, by the way, which we're going to talk about. You are calling Islam Makhachev a duck and saying that he ran from ILIA Topuria when Islam Makhachev defended the belt at 155 4 times, breaking the lightweight record. Excuse me, I'm sick. This is a hard video to make when you're sick and emotional about this. Broke the lightweight record for defenses. He beat Dustin Poirier by submission in the 5th round. Renato Moicano by submission in the 1st round. Knocked out Volkanovski, beat Volkanovski in a 5-round, 4 rounds to 1 fight. Beats Charles Oliveira in 2 rounds via submission easily, makes it look easy. Before that, ran through a couple guys. Before that, beat Bobby Green. We don't have to talk about that. Ran through Dan Hooker, also top 6 guy in the division right now. Beat Arman Tsarukyan at the beginning of his career. This guy, Islam Makhachev. And also, tried to fight Arman Tsarukyan. Was going to fight Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan pulled out a day before the fight. That's one thing people don't give credit to Islam Makhachev for. Is that I've heard some dummies say that Islam, hasn't even really cleared out the top 5. Yes, he has. He beat Dustin Poirier. He beat Charles Oliveira. He beat Dan Hooker. He tried his best. He tried his best to fight Arman Tsarukyan, and Arman Tsarukyan pulled out. He wouldn't fight anyone else because none of the other people were deserving. And now, Islam Makhachev didn't really... At first, I don't even blame him. He said, hey, this guy ILIA Topuria, no fights at lightweight. He's only a one-time defending champion at 145. I don't want to just give this guy the shot right away at my title when he hasn't done anything to prove it. Now, I do disagree with that a little bit. I think ILIA Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, I think Topuria deserves it, right? But it's not even that big of a fight to make. Topuria versus Islam. At UFC 317, Topuria versus Islam. That is not breaking any pay-per-view record. Of course, it would break the, attendance record for the stadium. UFC does that every event somehow. It's weird. ILIA Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is not a big fight at all, actually. That's not going to break any pay-per-view record, and if you genuinely think that, you don't know what you're talking about. And I've always said this. Go back on my videos. What I'm about to say right now, I've said this in my videos before. I said, you should make a number one contenders match of ILIA Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, and winner of that fights Islam Makhachev. Make that a number one contender or interim title fight. Well, Islam's at 170 for Charles Oliveira. ILIA Topuria, winner goes against Islam. Perfect fight. But what they do, strip Islam Makhachev of the belt, that makes no sense at all. And now you have these dummy Topuria D riders. By the way, I'm a Topuria D rider, but I'm not delusional like these random fans who come out of nowhere and start to say that Islam's running from Topuria. First of all, Islam isn't running from anyone, and he never has and never will. I got a couple reasons why. I already listed my first reason why, Topuria wasn't proven at lightweight, and also it's just, I feel like they can make this fight bigger by having Topuria fight Oliveira, and which he is doing. ILIA Topuria is fighting Charles Oliveira, UFC 317 main event for the undisputed lightweight title, which, by the way, where's Arman Tsarukyan at? If you really want it to be undisputed, if the UFC really cared about it being undisputed, they would do Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira number 2, or Arman Tsarukyan versus ILIA Topuria for the title. Why does Charles Oliveira get it over Tsarukyan? Because he's more popular, that's all. And the UFC's mad at Tsarukyan for pulling out a day before a fight, which I don't blame them. But yeah, where is Tsarukyan at? That guy needs to come back. But, getting to the point, ILIA Topuria, if they made this fight UFC 317, if they made this fight Islam Makhachev versus ILIA Topuria, Islam Makhachev, which I think he could do and would do, goes out there and subs Topuria in 1, or even TKOs him on the feet in the clinch in 2 or 1, or even beats Topuria in a decision, people would trust me on this. People would say, even though that's a really good title defense for Islam, trust me on this, people would say it's just another 145 Islam would beat. And Islam gave that chance to a 145er 2 times. So why should he have to fight a 145er again when he knows if he just ragdolls ILIA, which he very well could do, people are just going to say that again. Now, what I've always said, if ILIA Topuria goes out there and knocks Charles Oliveira out, that's a way bigger fight, and then that makes him also proven at lightweight. I'm just going to say this right now. I don't know really who I'm actually going for yet in this fight, in this Topuria versus Oliveira fight. You want to know why? Because we haven't seen Topuria's grappling test. His last grappling test was against Bryce Mitchell, and which you can argue a better Bryce Mitchell than what we saw recently. Sorry about that interruption. I think that this is going to be my first time actually editing a video. Got a Discord call, losers. But back to it, Bryce Mitchell. You could argue worse Bryce Mitchell was able to take down and control ILIA Topuria. And that was the last actual grappling test ILIA Topuria had. Now, ILIA Topuria did good in defending that and then even countering Bryce and ended up, I think, what did he, Darce Bryce? No, arm triangle, I think, against Bryce Mitchell. But Bryce Mitchell isn't at all even close to what these grapplers are at 155. He isn't even close or near anywhere in the same hemisphere as a Charles Oliveira, as a Arman Tsarukyan, as a Paddy Pimblett, as a Islam Makhachev. So we don't even know if ILIA Topuria is going to make it past Charles Oliveira. And who knows, for my 317 prediction video, I might just go with Oliveira. Just because how Oliveira's wrestling has been recently, and how I think he's much bigger than Topuria, and how he might be able to actually ragdoll Topuria. Or Topuria might just knock him out in 2, which that probably will happen, but don't be surprised. Also, another point. This fight with Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev. So you're saying Islam Makhachev is a duck for not fighting a guy who's coming up from 145, but Islam Makhachev is going up to fight a much harder opponent in Jack Della Maddalena? Jack Della Maddalena right now is a super, super hard matchup for Islam Makhachev. And if I'm Islam Makhachev and I look at that Jack Della Maddalena matchup, I'm probably like, oh shit, like, okay, this guy's striking is better than mine. He has really, really good counter grappling. He's very strong. He's bigger than me. That's a very stylistically hard matchup, and a lot of people are actually going to choose against me in this one because logically they should. Now, I think Islam Makhachev will beat Jack Della just because of the grappling. But that's a whole different story. But Islam Makhachev, he's a duck, but he's going up a division to fight a harder person because he's chasing greatness, fighting for a second belt. And if he were to get that second belt, he would be in the GOAT conversation. He already is in the GOAT conversation to me. But if Islam Makhachev were to go up there and get the welterweight belt, he's very well in that GOAT conversation. And if he were to defend that welterweight belt, or even get the welterweight belt, and then go down and fight for the 155 title against the winner of Topuria versus Oliveira, and then beat them, he's a GOAT. 100% he's the GOAT. But to say that ILIA Topuria made Islam run, you're stupid and you don't know anything. Islam Makhachev, stylistically, right now if we look at it, he would ragdoll Topuria. He's taking him down and he's submitting him. And even on the feet, he's a big threat to Topuria with kicks, and in the clinch a lot too. In the clinch, he would mess up Topuria. What would happen in the clinch? Islam's his Muay Thai clinch is so good. His knees would wreck Topuria. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I need to see Topuria versus Oliveira first. They're saying it's for the undisputed title, which it is, right? But the real ones know it's for the number 1 contender fight against Islam Makhachev. And you know what? If Islam Makhachev goes up to 170, beats Jack Della, and it's like, you know what? I feel really good at 170, and like I don't even know if I can make the 155 cut again. And if he stays at 170, he's still not a duck. Because 170 is a harder division than 155. And especially stylistically for Islam, there's a lot of hard matchups for him there. People are much bigger there. It's a scary division for someone from 155 to go to 170. And it's a big gap in size. Islam Makhachev is not a duck at all. I thought I should hop on here and defend him. He's chasing greatness. And let's say if he loses to Jack Della, he'll come right back down and beat the winner of Oliveira versus Topuria. He's not a duck at all. Trust me, Topuria, lil bro, he's not afraid of you. Our people, me and Islam, our people, we will not be defeated anytime soon. Islam Makhachev is not a duck. ILIA Topuria, he's also chasing greatness, and I respect him a lot. And if he's able to do to Oliveira, that everyone, okay, I don't think I'm making sense grammar-wise. If he's able to knock out Oliveira like everyone thinks he's going to, because he is a big favorite for this, that's going to be very impressive, and it'll make me want to see the Islam fight more. And it'll make the Islam Makhachev fight much bigger. I already said this before, the Islam Makhachev versus Topuria fight right now isn't a big fight. It's not going to break any pay-per-views. If you actually know what you're talking about, you know it's not. Islam's going up to fight a harder opponent. He already gave chances to 145ers. But yeah, you can't call Islam a duck. He's fighting Jack Della Maddalena. But he's a duck for not fighting Topuria, but he's going to go fight a bigger, stronger, and better opponent. Okay, yeah. It's weird though. But yeah, all these Topuria guys, it's just all the people, they just sheep, bro. You guys are all sheep. You guys can't beat us Dagestanis. It's over for you guys. Islam Makhachev will become the GOAT, and soon to come, he will be the GOAT. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment whatever you want. This guy right here, Islam Makhachev, is not a duck. Subscribe and comment. I really want to hear or listen to your or read your comments. What you have to say about this. I wonder if I'm gonna get any Topuria fans in this video, or not Topuria fans, but Topuria riders who think they're fans of Topuria just because they see a bunch of edits of him. I want to see your guys' comments. Also subscribe to, like the video, share it, post me on TikTok. Peace out.